It's the Small Business Rally Point for Monday, October 12th, 2020. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach, and today is a cloudy, kind of rainy, kind of just Monday with a capital M. You know what I'm saying? So we've got some fun guests on the show today. We're going to talk personal branding with the one and only Jess Lueck from Create Belle. And we've got a very uplifting and fun new program that's being piloted by Brand Crafted and the Idea Collective called the Coordinated Carryout. And we will talk with a local restaurateur about how it might help his business and how tomorrow you can order a PB&J sandwich and have a good time with us. So we'll talk more about that as the show goes on. Today's show is, of course, sponsored by Serendipity Labs and the small business collaboration site, the Idea Collective for Small Business Owners, which is now open to new members from now until October 23rd. One other note, we are broadcasting live on Facebook and here on Zoom, but we will eventually be on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to the Idea Coach YouTube channel. That's where all of our goodies are deposited after they are recorded. The person keeping track of all this mess, of course, is Jennifer Buchholz, who's producing the call, the ultimate business connector and my business BFF. So today we are talking all about personal branding, and the person that I frankly used and the person that I respect a ton about personal branding is Jess Lueck, the founder and owner from Belle Creative. So Jess, welcome to the show. And I'm excited to talk to you about personal branding. Can you define what personal branding is? Because a lot of people say they know what it is, but you have a very clear definition.
Yeah, it's who you are and how you choose to show up in the world and across your social platforms.
It's a pretty simple definition. And when you say that to people the very first time, do they think, oh, that's it? That's all it is, who you are and how you show up?
Every time. And then they are like, that sounds great. Sign me up. We'll work with your company. And I would say maybe like a week into the process, there are tears, there are frustrations, there are, right, Jennifer? Sue will probably be shaking her head. It's kind of digging into who you really are. Like, what's your purpose? What are your strengths? What's your passion? And these are all things that like everyone will say, but to really get into it and be vulnerable and to be honest about it, and then to really make the pivot to what you want to do, which might not be what you're good at, is really hard for people.
Now, you say that when you start talking to people about who they are, it touches some places that maybe they're not ready to go when it comes to branding and positioning. Is that's normally part of the process? Because they have to be honest about who they are and be really authentic for this to work?
Yeah. And it actually, how this kind of came up for us now to be like known as like personal brand experts, or it still makes me giggle because this is not where we started. It's not how we like meant to be, or like where we were going to take the company. We were like mid-sized to big business branders, but what happened is when you ask people when they're starting a brand or they're starting a company, why do you do this? Or when they're rebranding, we started to get in these situations with big teams, and there would be a lot of animosity, a lot of frustration, and as has been consistent throughout my career, it's all psychology. So like, why are you feeling this way versus you feeling that way? And then kind of it all goes down to whatever they're passionate about, what they feel like their purpose is. And the big one is how they want to show up, how you want to show up. We could be co-owners of a company, but how you want to show up and I want to show up, if it's different, we're not going to really work through that easily because it's entrenched in so much shit like inside of us. And if you don't have someone to help you get through that, you won't. Your brand will stay in a file folder, your website will never get up, and you'll just be stuck.
So when you realize there's all of this head trash that you have to wade through as a marketer, is that when you realized, oh, there's a business opportunity here? I can help people sort this out and then tell their story?
I wish, but no. I was like, oh, these peeps need a coach. So I started referring them out to like some of my favorite coaches that I know. I don't know if Sarah Reed's on the call, but she got a lot of bullshit from me. So because I was like, Sarah, help these people. And then what it came down to is people, so we did that for a while. We said, you need to get your business figured out. You need to know what your mission, vision, values, strengths, and challenges are. And then you come back to us and we'll do this brand thing again. But I swear they would come back in the same place. And so we built our whole process on these, what I call minefields of emotion, to really get to the heart of we had to get to the heart of why people were running the business and kind of trudge through some of these tough conversations, and then wade through it, because we also do a lot with thought leaders. So helping an individual expert SME and help them grow into a thought leader position, whether it's to speak or sell books or a business, whatever it may be. There's a million reasons. That first year is really hard for people. It's really hard to actually use your voice. And we didn't realize how hard it was until we started really specializing in it, and then had to like shift our process again. So
It's been kind of a learning process for
it
you
has been.
as well. But I think the point that you want to make is that you said something intriguing in the emails that we exchanged prior to this call, is that your personal brand isn't different than your business brand. And I'm not sure if everyone looks at it that way. So talk about how your personal brand and your business brand are essentially the same thing.
Yeah, it didn't used to be this way. So I always use the metaphor of, like before we could make buying decisions, like there'd be this really cool promotional item. Like mine was always I wanted the book of like Post-its, like so cool. I always saw like the sales guys give them out. And so when you finally get the chance to like make these buying decisions, you buy the stupid notebook of notes and realize it's like not valid anymore because that was 15 years ago and there's new things out. So, but we stick in these things that we think are really great. So it used to be that there were no personal brands. If you went out and put your name on something and it was like the Jessica show, I had no credibility. You don't put your name on it. Business, big business, that's what we put our trust in. And as trust has eroded in big businesses for one reason or another, and it could be generational, it could be social issues, there's 1,000 reasons. It wasn't necessary for a long time. I would even say like 5 years ago, not a lot of people were talking about it. It wasn't like, but now like, it's necessary. And you don't have to, you can do it you don't have to be an influencer or like a talking head to have a strong brand.
But think about the folks that work inside of a company very happily, but they don't have a personal brand that aligns with the business that they run. Is that when, as a marketer and a personal brander, you're sounding the alarm bell saying either you're missing an opportunity or you're not living out your purpose? Is that essentially what you're saying?
Sometimes. So we're back to like our like fun big business niche, but it's to help leaders with inside companies establish their personal brands, because companies are seeing, our top leadership team, they know a lot. Like they are like, these are the people in the industry and in the sector, and they are leading conversations and they are changing conversations, but no one knows because they're so busy on operations or sales or just life, right? So we're getting brought in to help those leaders develop personal brands and platforms, and then communicate what's important to them specifically as it relates to their business, and help them understand how to curate a personal brand. It's not everything. You don't have to put out you don't even have to put out pictures of your kids if that's not what you want to show up as and be known for. You can still be the finance, alternative investment, expert, and never talk about your family or kids because you're so private, but still own that space on social.
When should your alarm bells be going off if you don't have a personal brand? At what point is it, oh man, I better get this in order?
Year, like I would say March.
Oh, wait. Last year? So all of our alarm bells should be
Yeah, you
going
guys,
off
if
if you
you
don't have a
don't
personal
have
brand.
one, and if you haven't thought about it, or I mean, a lot of us are thinking about it, I think in some way, shape, or form. We're like, we have a Facebook page. Like, I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm doing it right. You might not be, and a lot of it comes from a fear, this is just what we see. Hundreds of people. It's a fear of being known. It's a fear of being pigeonholed. It's a fear of there's a lot of imposter syndrome as it relates to women. Like, I'm not the expert. I'm not sure. All these other people are so great. And so we try to, by helping people understand what their shtick is, like what is their thing and how they want to show up, we then give them the confidence to actually say it and own it as an individual, and it directly impacts, I mean, everything they're doing. We have people that work for huge financial organizations. They're not looking to leave their organization, but they're looking to have a voice in a space where they typically might not have, like, they might not be known for something that they did that was really big and pivotal in the industry, except for their LinkedIn articles, or except for publishing on Forbes or Inc. or Psych Today, or wherever, like, we get them, like wherever they want to be published and can get in. So
I've heard that a million times, though. I don't want to be known for anything because I don't want to be pigeonholed. And I'm thinking, wow, I'd rather be known for one thing, like ideas, than
really,
than being known for 1,000 other things. Like, I want to own a piece of real estate. So when someone says to you, I don't want to be pigeonholed, I don't want to be in a niche, I mean, does that just make your head explode?
well, it makes my heart sad. So like I get sad. Like, I think, oh man, because I feel it. I am a crazy big introvert. It's really hard for me to show up publicly. It's really hard for me to show up on social media. And it historically has been harder in the past for me. But it's a discredit to my company. It's a discredit to my employees. I mean, my employees, what changed it for me were my employees got together and came and they said, our parents don't think our jobs are real because there's nothing out there about creative. And I was like, but I'm paying you.
Yeah.
So, but it's the perception, right? And so then I've lived it and I know it. So it hurts on a deeper level when people say, well, I just feel like, I make that my niche, I'm never going to get out of it. And you can literally pivot out of it within like 3 posts, and people will start thinking you're something else. And there's a better way to do it, but like, it's all a transition. You don't have to stick if you don't want to.
So what's your personal brand?
Miller.
Do you have one? Are you working on one? I mean,
I
you sound
have
like someone
one.
that knows you should have one, but I don't know if I could describe it.
See this hair?
It looks fabulous. You're having
Yeah,
a great hair day.
I am. I do. I wouldn't show up if I didn't, right?
Right.
So your personal brand. So like when people ask what my personal brand is, I am upbeat. I am cheerful. I am the ultimate hype person. You can ask anyone that's ever worked with me or my company. You won't find a better hype person, because we believe that when you have fans, you have revenue. Revenue creates visibility. Visibility gets you those big name sponsors. And once you have the sponsors, you have a legacy. So, but you cannot do that if you're constantly thinking, I'm not the person, or someone else is better, or what if I niche myself? So we're like the ultimate, like, let's get out there and like hold the signs, and we're really good fans. And that's like 90% of the battle, I think, for people.
I like the word hype for you.
Yeah.
I think the word hype is actually a very good word. But to your own point, it sells you incredibly short, because there are a lot of people that can like throw around Facebook ads and stuff. But here's how a conversation goes with Jess. So you call Jess and say, hey, Jess, I'm thinking about doing the thing. And then she'll say, well, this study shows that blah, 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 blah. And by the time you're off the phone, you're not even talking about the thing, because she's dropped so much knowledge on you that, like, I didn't even think that the thing was a bad thing until I got on the phone with her.
I
So
mean,
to
it's
say
not a
it's
bad
just
thing,
hype,
but it's one of many things. And
right?
maybe there's a better one for you.
Just it's like hype is part of it, but it's more strategic than just hype.
Oh
It's
yeah.
strategic
Yeah.
hype.
We are. I I mean, the one thing that I think, right, like, I mean, any marketing agency can give you a logo and a brand. If they can't, like, go to Etsy or Fiverr and you can get one, like, they're, it's not why people hire us. I don't think they hire us because at the end of the day, we're an advocate. So I have said it since the day, like I put the shingle out there. You don't have to hire me and you don't have to hire LaBelle Creative. But what you do have to know is there's a way and there's a right way. And there's a lot of BS out there, and a lot of marketers are assuming that you don't know the data and you don't know that the $1,500 change they're going to make in your website is literally a click of a button or a quick phone call, or, right, Jennifer's like taking a deep breath. A phone call can avert like a crisis.
Because that one time she saved me so much money when they totally like disabled all of my web accounts and all of my email accounts, and they're like, good luck.
Good luck. And what it is a lot of small businesses don't have like, at the end of the day, we're tired. I don't know how many of you are like exhausted by the end of the day, but like, it's an exhausting thing to do, to be an entrepreneur and to be innovative and to keep kind of going. And when you run out of that and someone just happens to tell you, well, you lost it, that's all we can do, most people then go start a new website or and we know that the internet is a bunch of zeros and ones. So there's an answer somewhere that's usually pretty clear and pretty easy.
So coming up on the show, we're going to talk with Mike Hottinger from the Peanut Butter and Jelly Deli about our coordinated carryout. We're also going to do a roundtable conversation. What do you love most about what you do? So think about those two things. And if you have a question for Jess, drop into the chat and we will unmute you and you can ask her what you have in mind when it comes to personal branding. I don't want to use this, but I'm thinking it's more like the hype doctor or something like that. There's so much intelligence behind what you do. I just don't want to sell you short with just hype, but it is good. And also, you can't throw out there that there's a lot of BS out there without sharing what some of the BS might be, because I've seen you unfiltered before. Come on, what are some of the things that people are telling us that really is a load and we shouldn't believe it when it comes to personal branding, marketing reach, social media, perhaps? What do you think?
Yeah, your SEO reports shouldn't cost you thousands of dollars a month. They're pulling them from a resource that probably cost them $175 a month that you could have yourself for the same price.
Yeah.
What you shouldn't even pay for, not to say you shouldn't pay for it, but you should pay roughly around that cost. If they're adding like, well, here's some ideas that you should do, it's also coming from the same algorithm and conglomerate that's putting the report together. What you should pay for is the people that actually do it. And if you're going to invest any kind of money, that's an area where we see a lot of people getting not screwed, but it just makes me chuckle.
Yeah.
A lot of websites, Jeff, a lot of back-end website, or putting a calculator on your site. I've seen someone pay $5,000 to $8,000 for it. It's really a pretty simple piece of code. Again, you pay for it the more complex it gets, but we really help people understand the right questions to ask so that you save money. And again, some things are what they are. And depending on where you live, you're going to pay more. Like people who live in DC might pay more than people in the Midwest. It's just, it's just where your providers are. But I think having that knowledge and just not wiping your hands of it and saying, take care of it, get me all the leads is really important for small business owners.
So it sounds like if you're sitting there right now and you don't have a personal brand, step one would be, what do I stand for? And if you can't answer that, go talk to Ariel or Serena or someone else and figure out what you stand for. Step two would be, if this is what I stand for, is this what my company stands for? And if those two things aren't aligned, you need to have a conversation about that. And then once you and your company are aligned in what you stand for, then it's time to call Jess or someone and say, listen, I need a personal brand. Help me. Am I thinking about that the right way?
Yeah. And I would say you could call us
immediately with your
like you could call us, just know, like you pay for that, right? Like, yeah. So, we'll take you through a whole process and it's super valuable. But our process will actually include, the logos, the sub logos, the business cards, the letterhead, like everything you need in terms of a personal brand or business brand, and how it, in the education around it, so that it's actually something you can leverage immediately, which I think is important when it's just you or a small team helping you.
Is there anything else you want to share with us when it comes to personal branding, things that we're missing, or anything else that you want to leave with us as we address this topic?
I would just remind everyone that no one can replace you. So no one can do or know what you know, because you're completely unique. And I know that it seems overwhelming and daunting, and the world is big and social media seems big, but it to make $1 million, you need like 100 to 200 super engaged followers. If you remember that and you focus on that, I think it makes it very much more manageable. But it starts with knowing that like no one can replace you, and the way you say things and how you say them and your unique quirks, Andy Wines, right? Like will will define you, and people will either like you or hate you, but they're still going to talk about you. So
well, it's been a great learning process for me, and you've been very helpful. So I appreciate it. Jess Lueck from Belle Creative, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
you're welcome.
All right, so let's turn our attention to lunch, shall we? It's time to eat some lunch. We came up with just an idea inside Brand Crafted, the Facebook group, last week, and it kind of took off. Like, hey, Governor Evers announced new restrictions that they're getting dropped on restaurants. Restaurants are going down to 25% capacity. Now, this was prior to Mayor Barrett loosening the restrictions for Milwaukee. But basically, we know that our friends in the restaurant industry have been really hammered lately. So we came up with the idea on Brand Crafted, hey, let's do a thing called the coordinated carryout, where we'll pick out a restaurant, we'll all carry out from that restaurant on the same day. Turns out we have a guest inside Brand Crafted who owns a restaurant, our friend Mike Hottinger, who owns the Peanut Butter and Jelly Deli. So let's bring Mike on, talk about the restaurant industry, how he's doing, and then we'll talk about the program. So Mike, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Pat. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. So can you talk about what's happened to the deli since the virus hit? What has your journey been, and how are you hanging in there?
Well, to tell you a little bit about my company first, it's the Peanut Butter and Jelly Deli. We're located right over in West Dallas. We've been in business now for almost 3 years. And I had never been in this business before I started this. So everything's new to me. And this COVID thing is really placing a burden on my restaurant and other restaurants. I talk to a lot of people. I see a lot of restaurants struggling to the point that they're probably not going to make it if they've made it this far. It's uncharacteristic what's happening as far as at first the lockdown, and we stayed open during the whole time, just doing carry out and deliveries through some services. But we haven't closed one day. And I think it's important to maintain that openness. We did cut our hours down a little bit during the week. We're a lunch spot. So, but it's been tough, I have to say. But the one thing that's been keeping our chin above water, Pat, where we're a little bit different, is early on in our business, I knew it would be important to have different revenue streams. So I went out and I approached smaller, independent grocery stores in the area. And we sell a lot of those people in the area. Our products can be found, for instance, at the Outpost Natural Food stores, the one of the Cermak stores in town, the Metcalf's market over in Wauwatosa, a few of the Woodman stores as well. And then a couple local places like Beans and Barley. They use some of our products now in their cooking as well. So that's really helped us keep our chin above water. So I find it really helpful to have those other revenue streams right now.
And when you talk about the products, are those jellies and jams on the shelves, or what kind of products are you talking about?
What we do at the deli is we grind all of our nut butters in-house every day. We have over 100 different jellies and jams to choose from. And at the deli, what we do is we have a variety of breads every day, and our specialty is we grill them. So if you ever had a grilled PBJ?
Yeah, I make them at home, but never as nice as yours, that's for sure.
You know what? Most people haven't. They've lived very sheltered lives. I don't understand it. But, you know, we grill our products. So what we sell to the grocery stores are our fresh ground peanut butters and our jams.
That sounds incredible. So you have seen, and I don't need to know numbers or anything, but has it been a down year yet not a disastrous year? Am I reading that right? Or have you stayed pretty much towards plan?
No, we're down. We're definitely down. Now, the other benefit that I have over maybe some other people is I happen to own the building that I'm in. You know, I don't have to pay rent. You know, the people who have to pay a large rent, I just don't see how they do it. I really don't. But so there's some things that we put in place a long time ago, even when we just kind of developed our plan, that probably make us, we're going to get through this. In fact, I went to Madison yesterday with my wife, and we're looking at a storefront there for possibly our second store right on campus at the UW, on the UW campus.
Oh, that's a great idea. No place like home to eat a PB&J even when you're away at college. That's a great way to stay close and have that retro feel. Well, congratulations on that, man. And it sounds like you've got it set up in a way that you can shelter a storm like this. How about colleagues or friends that are in different types of restaurants? Do you have any, I mean, nothing identifiable, but any feedback from others that are going through the struggle right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough, especially the bar business as well. I can't tell you, I think everybody is kind of almost on a week-to-week basis. I have friends who do business down at the Milwaukee Public Market, and that's just been devastated. You know, from what I heard, downtown is about 20% of what it was with workers in offices downtown. So they're just not doing what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And the rent is still there.
Yeah. Not having to pay rent, I'm sure, is a big difference maker for you, as opposed to renting out a space and then having business go down. And that sounds like to be one of the death knells if you were renting a big space.
Yeah. And, you know, as I'm also a landlord and other things too, through this, you have to work with your people.
Yeah.
You know, you really do. So hopefully they're getting some relief.
Well, let's talk about the idea. So the coordinated carryout program, as someone that runs a restaurant, if we could bring in 10 or 15 orders in the same day, the reason why you really caught my attention when we posted this on Brand Crafted, because you immediately said, hey, I own a restaurant, and that would make a big difference. Talk about that if we could infuse that kind of order into someone's day.
No, it definitely would. That can make or break a day. And that's a big difference maker. And this is something that you do, other people will definitely benefit from that. I mean, to have 10 or so lunches that can make the difference between making money that day or losing money that day. Well, that's how on the cusp this industry is right now.
Well, now I want to talk about peanut butter and jelly. Now, come on, sell us on the deli, because you do some really cool things in there. Get us hungry to order tomorrow.
Well, we do. We've got some really great sandwiches. We do a lot of sandwiches with fresh fruit. One of our sandwiches is kind of named after Elvis Presley. We call it the King. He was famous for having a peanut butter with sliced bananas and honey. He had it with bacon as well. So we have that sandwich that we do very, very well with. That's our menu on the board right now. But the King is a very good sandwich. I don't think that sandwich is the one that killed Elvis, though. I think that the barbiturates had something to do with that.
Is that extra to get the barbiturates in there? Is that an extra cost?
Right. My favorite is one called the Strawberry Lovers. That's our honey roasted peanut butter, it's almost addictive. We sprinkle a crunch on it. Then we have our strawberry jam, which is all natural. We don't have jams with high fructose corn syrup or any corn syrup at all. So our natural jam, then we slice fresh strawberries on it, put it together and put it in the grill. And it's just phenomenal. It's really mouth-watering. Most of what we do as well, most of our breads, I think we only have one bread that isn't, but most everything is vegan. Our peanut butters are vegan. All of our jams are vegan. We probably have the largest menu of options for somebody who wants to go vegan. We always have a gluten-free bread as well. And inside our shop, you can sit down. We have dining in. Obviously, right now that is up, at 25% of our capacity, which we have a large capacity. It really doesn't affect us much. But we also developed, when COVID first hit and the weather became nice, we developed a courtyard area in our back, which is really nice for people that want to sit outside on a nice day. It helps.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we can order right on the website, or should we call? What should we do?
You can, or calling. Calling would work well. During the week, we open at 11. We're only open 11 to 2, Tuesdays through Fridays, and 10 to 3 on the weekends. And that'll expand as the pandemic hopefully goes away.
All right, so I'm putting it on Brady Bunch view here, and you're not in stone, but who wants to order from PB&J tomorrow? Because I'm definitely getting some peanut butter and jelly. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to put it up inside Brand Crafted as well, so the Facebook friends can play along inside the Idea Collective for small business owners as well. And you're our beta test. If this works out great, then we intend to pick other bars and other restaurants and pizza places and Chinese joints and whatever it is. Just everybody gets to play because we like to eat food.
Right. That's the one thing you have to eat.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. Thank you so much for playing along. And I'm sure your phone will be ringing tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Mike Hottinger, Peanut Butter and Jelly Deli in West Allis. We'll see you tomorrow, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, everybody.
It's our pleasure. All right. It's going to be fun. So let's see, here's the thing. Sometimes we come up with an idea and we're not sure if it's going to work. Right. But I mean, this sounds like fun. And David Bellman, who's on the call. David, I'm going to unmute you if you're available. So you're saying that you know someone in the industry. Is that right?
Yeah. One of my friends, she's the head of the Wisconsin restaurant industry. So, or the restaurant association rather. So she's helping a lot, especially small businesses that are restaurants, cope with all the rule changes and all the pivots and things that have to go on. So I'm sure she eats at a lot of these fine establishments. So if you need recommendations, I'm sure she'd be glad to provide them, especially the ones that maybe need a little assistance. And I'm glad to share the idea with her and see what she can do to help promote it and help find some good restaurants to eat at.
That's a great idea. Great idea. Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jess, you put in the chat asking Mike if he was on DoorDash or Grubhub. And Mike, I see that you are on DoorDash on your menu here. It says door service delivery by DoorDash.com. Are you on Grubhub as well?
Yeah, just those two, DoorDash and Grubhub.
Okay. Awesome. All right, man. We're going to give you some orders tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Thanks again. Appreciate it. All right, let's get to our roundtable, Rally Point roundtable conversation for the day. And this is where we throw out a question and you think about the answer, drop into the chat that I have something to share, and then we go through the answers as quickly as we can. Last week, we went through your favorite business book and why do you recommend it? Why did you love it? And we talked for 20 minutes about business books, and the list ended up being this long. And thanks to Ariel Kopak, she made a big list. So we put that up inside the book club of the Idea Collective. So I appreciate that. So the question of the day is, what do you love most about what you do? So while you're thinking about that, drop into the chat if you have an answer that you would like to share. And we will start the conversation. So Sam, we're going to bring you on. It looks like you're here first. You get a Scooby snack for being the first one. Sam, what do you love about what you do?
What I love is that I'm doing this for myself. It's my fight or flight. Somebody else isn't going to reap the rewards of me putting in 70, 80 hours and then me on the cusp that, oh crap, the business is down. I might lose my job. It is for me, and I have the power to change, and I have the power to influence. I can improve the community, devalue the community. It's all up to me. I have the power to do what I want and to make my community better.
Yeah, that's cool. Independence, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, Sandra Heft, what do you love most about what you do? Oh, Sandra, let's try that again. What do you love most about what you do? Are you there? There you go.
Here we go. Okay. There we go. I got into my business because of the flexibility. My kids are big now, but they were little. 22 years this month. And but I stay because of the people. I love the people I get to work with in the company and my customers and my networking friends. So I stay for the people.
Very cool. Very cool. AFW, what do you love most about what you do?
I get to do what I want every day. It's that simple. Like, I love being an entrepreneur. I hate being a business owner, if that mindset makes sense. But I've developed a life and a business around what I want to do and who I want to hang out with, what audiences I want to reach. And that incredible freedom and the risk and the reward is worth it. I'm a procrastinator and an adrenaline junkie, and I love all things that are scary. So the fact that some days you don't know what you're going to do, there's never a day I go home and feel like, man, I didn't do enough, or I didn't feel like I got enough out of that day. So every day I get to maximize it. Like Sam said, do it for something I believe in and chase my dream.
Do you get a rush out of taking risk?
Absolutely. You tease it. I was told I wasn't allowed to start another business this year, right? So
Yeah.
I took it to heart, and the next business starts January 1 of 2021. It's go time, boys.
Very good. Pat Riley, what do you love most about what you do?
Well, I own a training company, and so we teach people things. And a part of our business is career development for people, and we change their lives. And occasionally, we get to get a hold of somebody and be able to take them from perhaps a more menial type career and get them into IT. And we're working with somebody right now, in fact, that we're doing that very thing. In fact, I think we've got them into a help desk job, and before he was driving a bus. Wow. And to be able to do that for a career is a very rewarding thing to do for me. That's what I love.
Fulfilling for sure. All right. Thanks, Pat. Sue Gresham, the LinkedIn lady. What do you love most about what you do?
I love most about what I do when I get to work with individuals one-on-one and help them figure out what that special sauce is that they've got, they know they've got it, but they don't know they have it. And just working with them, helping them pull that out. And then when that light bulb goes off, and just seeing the enthusiasm that they've got, that to me is the best. The absolute best thing in the world is working with people like that.
That's on theme with what Jess Lueck was talking about today, about finding that thing that makes them unique, and then you get to help them make it come out to the public, which is awesome. David Bellman, what do you love most about what you do?
I love the variety of what I do. Every day, there's always something different I'm working on, and sometimes it's doing some marketing stuff. Sometimes I'm on a job site. Sometimes I'm doing a subdivision, or we're doing some real estate stuff. So there's always something different going on every day, and there's always new challenges. So, and I'm kind of like Andy, where I have a couple businesses. So it's, I'm kind of getting like the old lady with all the cats,
Yeah.
the businesses. But so there's always stuff to do, and there's always challenges, and I'm never bored. I always have stuff to do.
It's intriguing, the company that you have, Bellman Homes. I mean, how many homes have you built in your career, roughly? Do you know that number?
Well, I guess it depends on if I include my father's stuff that I was part of. So it's probably been 1,800, 2,000 homes, roughly, plus or minus.
And they last for decades. So you help people build their dream home, and then like the ownership and pride and joy that you bring to people. It's not like, I don't know. It's just there's a legacy to what you do. Does that feed you as well?
Yeah. I mean, that's, it's really cool when I drive by like an old subdivision we did, and you see like, I remember it when we built it, and it was like a farm field, and I drove around it as a farm field. And then now you see these beautiful homes and like these trees that you planted, and they were like, this thick,
yeah, and
this tall. And now they're these gigantic trees, and you're like, holy cow, this is, we made this. So yeah, that's always really exciting.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks for sharing. Lisa Rabel, Rebel Girl Marketing. What do you love most about what you do?
I love the follow-up aspect of it. So when I get done working with a client, calling them and to see how it's going. And then when they've implemented the stuff that we've talked about, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's like so much better. And just, I like the follow up. It's not that like, oh good, you did what I did. It's more of they're relieved to have something that makes sense for them that they can implement and move forward with. So it's good to see them happy and successful.
You take away a lot of frustration too. People want a result. They don't know how to get there. You tell them how to get there. They do the stuff that you share with them, and then they get to where they want to go. Like you help people become successful. That's really cool. All right. Thanks for sharing. Sarah Nowacki, travel agent goddess. What do you love most about what you do?
Well, I love giving people a vacation that they need or deserve, and helping families who have a member on the autism spectrum getting that first vacation that they never thought that they could have.
Yeah.
So if they didn't think they could travel beforehand.
Some of the letters you've received and some of the feedback you've gotten is just profound.
Yes. When they give me that first phone call that they don't think that they could ever travel, and I, help them through that, and they get back and I said, they tell me that this was something they never thought that they could do, and they had the best time as a family, and that they're ready to go again. It's just the best thing to hear.
Good agents like you, though, aren't people that like just get on the web and book an airplane or a hotel room. Like you have this caretaker quality around you. Like you're trying to make sure that you give them the best experience. It's almost like a party planner or an event planner. Like you think about it differently. Is that something that you've always done and now it's just travel, or is that like essential to do what you do?
It's something I've always done. I always take care of people, my kids and everything. Yeah. And I watch all their flights. I'm on my phone, making sure that, if they need something, and you can attest to that, Mr. Miller.
Oh, yeah.
I've been texting with you at 5 in the morning, 3 in the morning, if your flight's delayed or if there's a storm coming, and we'll get you out early. Just making sure that things go smoothly. I want everybody to have a great time. Your vacation time is valuable.
Yeah.
It's important.
Oh man. And you would think for a year when nothing's going on, we would have been able to take more vacations, but we can't go anywhere.
No, soon. Well, you can go to Mexico and Caribbean right now.
That's true. Mas por favor. Okay.
Exactly. The margaritas are waiting.
Do not tease me, because there'd be a vapor trail behind me if that just sounds too good. All right, Jennifer Wendell, what do you love the most about what you do?
What I love the most about what I do is helping people realize their dream in a space by changing the feel of the space. And sometimes that's just a matter of moving a few things around or bringing a few things back in. And I love the aha moment when it's right and somebody's like, oh, that feels different, but I didn't know it felt wrong before. So it's putting all those pieces together, and all of a sudden the space has a feel that's right. So that's what I love the most of what I do.
So you're a decorator and designer, and you help people make their spaces better. If you walk into a room, like if you walked into the Idea Coach cave here, which I'm not going to let you do because your head will explode, but if you walked in here and looked around, how long does it take you to see what you want to do?
It's minutes. And I really thought everybody did that. Like I thought everybody walked into a space and knew if it felt right or wrong. And I remember talking to somebody about it once, and they're like, no, that's not the case. So, and I literally, if I can't fall asleep at night, I'm rearranging all of your houses and your offices in my sleep, because that's relaxing to me. It's like, okay, now it's right. Now I can rest.
Yeah, that's great. Well, cool, Jennifer. Thank you. Brad Herda, what do you love most about what you do?
I love supporting my clients and their teams to get through change, right? Working through all of that. And then when you take that reflection moment and you go, we were here 3 months ago and now you're there, and they never thought it was possible.
Very cool. All right, Michelle Miller, what do you love most about what you do? Share what you do, and then what do you love most about what you do?
I work for an IT company, and so my company helps people to find the IT solution that is right for them and eliminate the headaches that IT can sometimes cause. The thing that I love most about what I do is getting to meet people and learning about what they do.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, Debbie, what do you do? And tell us what you love most.
Our family owns a carpet and furniture cleaning company, and it's been in the business since 1976. And what I love most is that I get to work and laugh with my best friend, who is my husband. We get to meet new people all the time. And great people all the time. We get to help people. It's immensely gratifying because since we are cleaning carpet, you get to see immediate results. I mean, it was filthy dirty when you walked in, and now it's pristine and clean. And that's very satisfying. We make people happy. We have solved conflict within marriages because some people, it's like, I need a new sofa. This is too filthy. And we've gone in, and the husband doesn't want to buy a new sofa. We've gone in, we've cleaned it, we've saved money. Everybody's happy. And so many of our customers end up becoming friends. So, I mean, we have been servicing customers since, you know, they brought the baby home from the hospital, and now they're married with children. So we like what we're doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Making marriages better. That's important, and clean and better marriages. Amy Krumkowski's got to jump off. Amy, before you jump off, can you share what you love most about what you do?
Okay. I just threw it in the chat, but I'll tell you this morning I had a call. I'm a career coach, career transition coach, and I had a coaching call with a client this morning who's over in Switzerland. And I really believe in following my intuition. And this client sort of revealed feeling incredibly lonely and just, I think she really needed to, she said she hadn't had a hug. And so I said, go grab a pillow. I went and grabbed 2 of my stuffed animals, and I said, let's just do this here. And I grabbed my animals, and I encouraged her to grab her pillow and led her in a small meditation. And it was one of those moments sometimes when you're a coach, you know that what you're doing sometimes is, of course, the intention's right, but it's always a risk because you don't know whether this is going to land with your client. This turned out to be the right answer, the right timing, and it was the right thing to do. And I thought, because she said, how did you do that? I said, something just told me this was the thing to do. So for me, I think it's just about really showing up authentically with your client, but also the ability to really do deep work where you're really sensing into what somebody's needing at the time. So
that's an amazing story. How long did it take you to trust yourself to go there with things like that? Is that something you've always had, that gift, or did it take a while to develop that?
it took a little while because I've tried things and they absolutely have been the wrong thing to do, or I have had a client tell me that wasn't helpful, and I've had to take that feedback and really listen to it. And also know that sometimes even when I think I might not be right, to just trust it. So it's a skill set. I think I'm still honing it still, but this morning that really actually worked. And this is only my third call with the client. So I thought that was great. I really appreciate creating I said a container of safety, which is what she needed, was to feel safe and to feel really vulnerable. And she kept talking about it up here. And I'm like, let's drop that down right here. And that it was perfect.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you for sharing before you had to jump off. I really appreciate that.
I do appreciate too. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Amy. Thanks. Serena Talbot had to jump off, but she shared in the chat. I want to make sure it gets on Facebook because they can't see the chat. We want to get it on tape. Serena, who's also a mindfulness coach, I would say, a therapist. She loves seeing her clients break through old beliefs and blocks to truly understand their value and worth so that they can get to work and accomplish their goals and their visions, which is very, very cool. Well, I love doing questions like this because here's the big takeaway. Now, one of the things I try and do is listen, right? And try and find meaning and themes through all of this. Why do we go to work? Okay, we got to make money. But when we always asked, what do you love most about what you do? Not one person said money. Not one person said make a lot of money. But how many of our decisions every day are driven by us trying to increase our income, trying to increase our sales, trying to grow our market? Yeah, it's important. We all got to eat because I'm ordering from Mike and Peanut Butter and Jelly Deli tomorrow. You're damn right I am. Got to have money. But when we talk about why we do it, what do we love most? Not one person said how much money I make doing it. So Those are the types of things I'm listening for, and I want you to think about your answer today, because that could be educational as you make choices today, tomorrow, and the rest of this week. Are you making choices to increase your revenue, or are you making choices to increase the joy and meaningfulness that you get out of running your own small business? Because sometimes those things pay emotional bills that are more valuable than the money that you make. Something I think that's pretty interesting. All right, as we head into the dismount here in the end of the show, a couple of things that I want to share. The Idea Collective for Small Business Owners is now open. If you text the word IDEA to 414-240-1315, you can get more information on this collaboration community. Many of the folks in the call today are members of this community, and we are accepting members tomorrow and Thursday to the Idea Slam to come in and get an idea of what happens inside the group. What we do in an Idea Slam is we all sit around a Zoom call and we brainstorm together. Who needs help today? And you would say, hey, I need help with the thing. And we will all work together and collaborate with you to create a new idea, a new program, and a new opportunity for you to increase your revenue, or perhaps, as we were just talking about, to become more fulfilled. Another thing that's going on, and we're pretty darn excited about this, and Andy, if you want to be the hype man for this, feel free to do it, but the Young Guns Fall Summit is now on sale, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and we've got a really killer lineup this year. Brandy Holloway is going to do a presentation on how to ignite your entrepreneurial mindset during challenging times, and our keynote, Ryan Campbell, is going to talk about influence through adversity, from a world record to learning to walk again. Not to mention 2 panels. One will have business leaders sharing how they succeeded during the pandemic. Darren Fisher from Spirity and Michael Creed from Leader One Financial are on that panel. And we're going to have a politics panel. Yes, a politics panel. Because, note the date, November 12th. Oh, sweet baby Jesus, the election will be over by November 12th. 8:30 until noon is the time, and all of these panels are a part of the broadcast. Tickets are $20 right now during the FlexScripts savings window, and that is the initial discounted tickets. As of Sunday night, the tickets are going to go up to be $30 a head. So if you're interested in attending, hit that link that I just dropped into the chat. We would love to have you. Andy Wines, did I miss anything on the Young Guns Fall Summit?
I mean, the enthusiasm was there, but we need more. We got to explain through our actions and our motivation how empowering this event is going to be. If you were there in February, you got your mind and face and body rocked. We're going to do the same thing live through the virtual, gods that are the interwebs, and give you the good stuff. But not only are we going to feature these great panels and speakers, you're going to be able to interact with the like-minded individuals like Brandy, like Pat Miller hosting the event. So let's not just forget, it's not just us talking at you. It is also you talking back at us. It's about connection. It's about networking. It's all the good stuff we love here in the entrepreneurial world.
And as Jennifer said, you're like Chris Farley in a van down by the river there. You were coming.
You know what it is? I watched a lot of wrestling growing up, a lot of wrestling. And like the hype man on wrestling, that's the caricature that I try to get back to. I probably should go back to watching wrestling.
Well, you definitely have a Sergeant Slaughter vibe going on there with the whole outfit and the whole thing, right? I mean, is that what your character would be, something like that?
Yeah, no, I'd probably just be the guy that talks a lot and then tags his partner and has him do the work while I
probably
remain on the outside the ropes talking.
You'd be the guy with the megaphone.
Throw David Bellman and let him get beat up a little bit. I'll come in for the finish.
All right, it's going to be a great event. November 12th, the tickets are on sale now, thanks to FlexScripts for the discount. And also thanks to our guest today, Jess Lueck from Belle Creative, for coming in and dropping knowledge about personal branding. And tomorrow is the coordinated carryout day. Let's do some good for our friend Mike, who came on today, the Peanut Butter and Jelly Deli in West Allis, and watch the Brand Crafted Group, because after tomorrow, we're going to put up a new survey of what's the next restaurant that we should support with the coordinated carryout. So it's going to be dope. Dope. Where did that come from? I should not be using that word. It's going to be a great time.
Wow.
I know, right? I don't even know where that came from. I have no idea where that came from.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That was
just move on with the sign off and stop the recording and stop the live, and then we can go to anything that's dope.
Okay. Yeah, we'll save that for after the show. A shout out to Jennifer Buchholz, who's doing all the hard work producing the call, the ultimate connector in our business BFF. And we will wrap up the show, please, today, the Small Business Rally Point for October 12th. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. I'm not dope or fly, but it was nice to talk to you today. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.